So welcome everyone. This is the first episode of the Honor MD podcast.
Woohoo!
And we are so excited to do this.
We are so excited. This has been such a long time in the making.
Yes, we've been talking about doing this for a long time. We've wanted to do this for a long time. And we're excited because these are the things we're passionate about.
Exactly. So, we want to join the conversation. We love beauty and wellness and just, figuring out how to live a balanced life. And so we are experts in our fields and we are learning as we go.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to do this because I want to join this conversation. So many people are so interested in beauty and all of these treatments and wellness. And so I'm really excited that we get to do this together.
Yeah. And I think one of the other reasons why is that Ursula and I, wherever we go, if it's a cocktail party or dinner party or we're with friends, we're inevitably stopped and asked questions about this stuff. And it's because, like Ursula said, we this is what we do. So this is what we live. And so why don't we maybe share a little bit about ourselves?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why don't you share with everyone your background?
Sure. So my name is Ursula Diaz and I am married to Dr. John Diaz. And my background is in makeup and skincare. So I got my start in the beauty industry as a model and I also worked as a professional makeup artist. And then I really fell in love with skincare because I had terrible cystic acne. And so it was kind of born out of necessity. And so John wanted to start a skincare line and had started one and we had just started dating. And so we worked on a skincare line together and I learned so much. And we did a postgraduate certificate course at UCLA and we started our first skincare line 13 years ago, right? 12 years ago, something like that. And so, that's kind of my background.
Yeah.
Makeup, skincare, beauty.
And living together now, you become like an honorary plastic surgeon.
Yes, through osmosis. I have some surgical background.
Yeah, no, you've definitely, throughout the last decade, the amount of knowledge and experience you've gained in this industry is amazing. And I hope that the audience, will learn as much about that as I have learned from you. But to tell you a little bit about myself, so I'm a board certified plastic surgeon. And as Ursula mentioned, I had wanted to start the skincare line a while back. And the reason was that I realized so many times when surgeons did surgery on the face, they could do the most amazing technical job. Everything would look great technically, but then the surface of the skin did not look great and it didn't match and there was a mismatch. So a lot of times the results wouldn't look as great and it was hard to put a finger on it until you realize, wait, it's because the skin wasn't treated and the skin wasn't taken care of. So I realized that if I really wanted to be excellent at what I did, I needed to kind of look at the skincare as well.
And you have such a unique vantage point, right? So you can see the skin, you can see under the skin, you can manipulate the skin where maybe some other doctors they can't,
right? Because
that's not there. They're not a surgeon.
I think that, having the background of a plastic surgeon is unique because of what you said. It's we are dealing with every layer. And so I get to see things in a way that, let's say a dermatologist, they're fantastic and they're great at what they do, but they don't see the anatomy the way I do. Mm-hmm. And then there are other surgeons who, are so focused on the surgical part and don't appreciate the importance of the surface of the skin. So I think it's great that I've been able to really appreciate all of those different, levels.
And then something else that's really unique about your training and your experience is your ingredient knowledge. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah. So when I was in Cornell, so I went to Cornell undergrad, and when I was an undergrad student, I actually, Cornell is made up of multiple different colleges. And so I was a student of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences. So it was one of the colleges where you can major in biology, but you also were exposed to agriculture. So we learned the biology of not only animal cells, but also plant cells. And so I learned a lot about agriculture. And it's interesting because my family's from the Dominican Republic. My father grew up on a farm. And my mom both grew up in a rural village and farms. And my father's passion was farming and planting. And his hobby was being a gardener. And so I think from a very early age, I got exposed to how powerful and important plants are, and then learning the science behind plants and, the incredible processes that occur in all kinds of plant life. It's amazing. So that also has influenced a lot of like what I do today.
And for the people that don't know, we have a skincare line called Honor MD. And what's so unique about our formulas is that they're effective, clinically proven, and primarily plant-based. And so all of this wealth of knowledge, like your medical side and my beauty, we came together and we did Honor MD.
Yeah.
So now we're doing the Honor MD podcast because it really encompasses our passions and it speaks to all of those things. So I just love John's background and I love that you get to share that because so many people don't know that.
Yeah. Well, thank you, honey. I love you too.
Yeah.
I love your background. So beauty has always been something that we both kind of like when we started dating and met and started talking about things, we both always got really excited talking about beauty.
I love being part of the beauty industry. It's great because, you're making people look good and you're making them feel better. Right. Yeah. And for me with acne, oh my gosh, I think that if you haven't had acne before, it's really hard to appreciate how bad it makes you feel and how it affects your confidence and at all ages, but especially as an adult, because usually you associate acne with teenagers or younger people. So it was really hard for me. And I know that a lot of the patients that I've met, people that I'm helping get ready for a movie or a wedding or some kind of event, nobody wants acne for any of those things. Yeah. So I was very passionate about that. And that was one of the things, but I always loved makeup. And that was even my before the acne part was really the makeup.
And we always talk, you always share that with me. Like when we first started dating, you would share like how, you would feel so self-conscious whenever you developed acne and like how it affected you. And you're such a beautiful woman.
Thank you.
And so, for me to hear that, it was actually very insightful because I never thought of it that way. I just assumed like, oh my God, you're beautiful. Like what, like, of course you're going to feel great about yourself, but it is important to always, have that confidence in yourself. And it's amazing how something like that seemingly doesn't seem so serious, like acne, could actually affect someone. And
oh my gosh, absolutely.
Yeah. And it's why I love what I do. So, to your point, plastic surgery, one of the reasons I chose this field is because I realized that I really love making people feel better. Like I love making people feel happy. Mm-hmm. And there's not many medical specialties where every day, patients are happy to see you. Like I'm bringing good news and they're happy to see me and they're happy to, that I'm treating them. Like that's a really special, privileged position.
Industry.
Yeah. It's a very positive.
I love being part of the beauty industry. I think it's great.
Yeah. So that's definitely one of the things we definitely want to talk about.
Yes. Beauty. Yep.
What else should we talk about in this podcast?
I think another thing that we're super passionate about is wellness. Yeah. And to me, when I talk about wellness, I mean, emotional wellness, mental wellness, physical wellness. So I think of eating well. I think of working out. I think of meditation. And so I think some people think of wellness as like just yoga or meditating. And to me, my definition is all of those things. And that's such an important part of our life, especially as we get older. I mean, we're parents, we're professionals, we have children. And as you get older, you realize how important your health is and how fragile it is. And so all of these things help you feel and look better longer. I mean, people are looking amazing, right?
I mean, look at you.
Well, thank you. But I mean, like older people, people are just ageless, 50 women in their 50s and their 60s. It's great. It's kind of like the beauty revolution, right? There was like the, what was it? That big revolution, the industrial revolution, the technological revolution.
So this is the equivalent of the beauty revolution.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes, sort of.
You know what? You're right. It may rival the Industrial Revolution. But here's what I will say. It's another thing we bonded over when we first started dating, because Ursula, one of the things we enjoyed doing so much was going running together, working out together, trying to eat healthy together. Ursula is someone that talks the talk, but also walks the walk, because look at her. We have 2 daughters. And I think if anything, like in the greatest shape of your life. You look
I think
amazing.
I'm in better shape than I was in my 20s, but I didn't know the importance of weight training and eating clean. And those things changed my life. And I loved, and I really want to get into that because I think still so many women think that lifting weights and, eating carbs are going to make you fat or make you really bulky. And it's just not true.
Yeah, no, 100%. And that was actually like a revelation you discovered, because it's so hard for people to stay fit, and you started eating clean and you introduced weightlifting.
And it wasn't, I didn't discover it on my own.
Yeah.
And I, for so many years, I would run all the time, which I loved, but then the weight would come back. And then I did weight training, but I wasn't eating right. And then I was eating really, really healthy, but I wasn't doing the weight training. So it never really came together for me until I met this amazing coach, and she really made small tweaks that made all the difference. And now it's been over 10 years. I've been the same weight. I've had 2 children. I'm 40. And so it's changed my life. And I that's something that I'm passionate about. I love helping everybody, but especially women and moms, kind of overcome this yo-yo thing with your weight, because it takes up so much mental energy and emotional energy. And if there was something healthy you could do that was doable and easy, like, why wouldn't you do it?
I always compliment you on what a positive, healthy attitude and approach you have to eating and working out, because you work out, you're very thoughtful and conscious about what you do, but you don't deprive yourself. And I think that's a problem a lot of people have, is you can't sustain something if you're constantly sacrificing and depriving yourself, and you have a really good balance about that.
Thank you.
In fact, it's funny, everyone that's sometimes, obviously you come up in conversation and be like, oh yeah, but Ursula looks like that because I'm sure she doesn't eat anything. I'm like, oh no, you got to see her with a pizza. Like Ursula will get that pizza down. Well,
you have to have treat days. And like you said, if it's something that you don't enjoy or not sustainable, you're not going to do it.
That's right.
And the truth is, I've tried all of those things. I've tried everything and it didn't work. And so finally finding something that is more balanced, because I've been there. I've tried all the crazy diets. I, didn't have balance. And I think now this is so second nature. Like I don't even think about it. And when I share what I do with other people, they're like, oh, if I could just have the willpower. And I'm like, what are you talking about? It's so easy. But then I think back, and 12, 13, 14 years ago now, when I first started doing this, it was hard for me. But now it's second nature.
Yeah. And I can't pretend to be in as good of shape as Ursula, but I'm not too shabby myself.
Not at all. And I was just going to say that, John is 50.
Yeah.
That's very impressive. And has 0 time to work out and is the most disciplined person. Oh, he's like a 1 scoop of ice cream kind of guy. And I'm more of like eat the whole carton kind of girl.
Yeah.
But, that discipline that you have, and you were just saying earlier, there is an equation, right?
Yeah.
So if you aren't working out, then you have to make really great food choices and vice versa.
Yeah, no. And it's something, again, that we bonded over and that I'm very passionate about, this wellness aspect, because this career is a very difficult career and I don't get time to work out. And it's very easy and very common for surgeons my age to start becoming overweight. As you get older, it's a little bit harder to lose weight and metabolism may slow down, so on and so forth. And then you're busy and you're not working out and you're so stressed out. It's very, very easy for someone in my position to gain weight. And that was always something I was very aware of, and that it's a value that I have, that I wanted to be healthy. Now, especially more than ever, because I'm married. I have 2 incredible daughters. I want to be healthy. So wellness to us, I don't want to assume, but I think we share the same idea, is that it's not only about looking great, which is important, but it's also about truly being healthy inside.
Yeah. And it's a balance of all of those things. And as I get older, and now that we have kids, for me, even the mental aspect is so important, and modeling healthy habits of all kinds.
Yeah.
So it's great. And I love that, we're learning as we go, and I really want to join the conversation, because I feel like we have such good information to share and there's such terrible information out there. And there's also great information out there. So helping distill that and helping share that and, you know, like really getting into conversation with the people that we treat. And, you know, we were on a panel recently and it was amazing how much people were they were just so interested. Like, what do I do to look my best in my 20s and my 30s and my 40s and my 50s? And what did Lindsay Lohan do? And it's like, there's all these amazing things. And why not talk to the people that actually know the answers?
That's right.
You know, and it's just, it's fun. And like you said, you're making people feel better. You're making them look better. And at the end of the day, I mean, we're all trying our best, right? And why not look your best and feel your best?
Yeah. That's a great point that, you know, even though we have, you know, such, so many years of experience in these industries, we are still always learning.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many new things that come out every day, every year, and learning what actually works and things that we thought were great that aren't great and things that are really amazing. And
I think probably the hardest thing to learn is living a balanced life.
Yeah. And like, what does balance even mean? Like, there's always, I feel like for moms, especially working moms, like, how do you balance it all? And I always tell people, I don't. Like, even this week, like, no matter how well I plan my week, somebody gets sick, something gets canceled, somebody needs something, the pipe bursts in the house. Like, there is just no way to balance it. And that's just life. But learning to let go, I think, is really kind of learning how to balance things and just kind of learning how to make it work. So I don't balance, yes, but like a healthy sense of balance and figuring out what that means to you and to us.
Yeah. No, it's something I think about all the time. And I think it's another reason why, you know, we have so much in common is because I think we share these priorities. So for example, going back to, you know, my experience as a surgeon, it's so common for surgeons to become, because of this career, to become so obsessed with the career and the work because it is so demanding. And I've seen a lot of surgeons that I admire have trouble in their families, you know, and have troubles with their marriages and things like that. And that's always been a priority to me. And it's one of the things that I'm the proudest of. Like, I love our marriage and our daughters. And it's so important to me to have our family. And so it's something that I put effort into, you know, to maintain. And you're the same way because, you know, you're an ambitious, driven woman. You know, you have this business, and it's very easy sometimes to get lost and be like, oh my God, I got to spend more time. And you always make it a point to like be there for our daughters and be there for us and our family. And this is hard.
I'm happy that I can do that. And we've talked about this a lot. Like, I always prioritize our daughters because I know that at the end of the day or the end of my life, I'm never going to regret prioritizing my kids. At the same time, I have the luxury of doing that. I mean, you work insane hours and, you know, you do so much for our family. You're a provider, you're everything to us, and you do everything for us. So I feel so lucky that I have the luxury to prioritize them, right? And I know not everybody has that. So I feel so blessed. But, you know, we call our skincare Honor MD, and we call this podcast Honor MD. And when we talked about why that is, one of the things that came to mind for me was because we're very intentional, right? So like, we use sustainable packaging, as sustainable as we can be. We're learning as we go. We choose, you know, very thoughtful with our ingredients and our preservatives. And we really try to think of everything. And we have an intention behind it, right? We want you to have very safe skincare, but we want it to work. And we're like that in our marriages and in our marriage and in our values.
Is there something you want to tell me? No, just
no, but like, you know, that our values, right? We have values for our company, that we put the customer first, that we put the earth, you know, first, that we really honor the earth. We honor our patients. We honor the stuff that we put on our skin. But I just thought of something. Like, if we're so intentional with our marriage and our values and our companies, and I want to be intentional with this podcast, right? So like, why are we doing this? So we can share information, so we can, join the beauty conversation and bring as much knowledge as we can, and, you know, to learn, right? We also want to learn, but at the same time, like, I want people to feel better. And I know for me, like, when I look at Instagram, sometimes it makes me feel bad, or I love watching the mom videos on Instagram where it's like super organized organized and like get all the Amazon things. And I will never do that.
Yeah.
I won't. I enjoy watching it. And after I watch it, I feel bad because I know that I could never do that to my pantry. Right. But I don't want people to feel that way after they listen to our podcast. Like, I want you to feel better. Like, oh, wow, she balances it all. I don't. And there are days when I'm crying and I call you crying, or I call my mom, or I call my best friend, and I just can't do it. And I just feel like I failed that day. And maybe I did. Yeah. And the next day I kill it. But like, I want people to listen to this podcast and feel better about themselves, knowing like, oh, I can do that. Or like, that's one action step I can take. Yeah. Or like, I didn't, today sucked. You know, whatever it is. But I don't want people to look at us and think like, oh my gosh, you know, I mean, I hope they think that we're two people that are trying to be helpful and fun. Yeah. But and trying our best. That's one of the intentions that I have for this podcast. I want people to feel better. I want them to take something away from this. Yeah. What about you? What are your intentions?
I love that. And when you were saying that, it resonates so much with me because we've had many conversations about this. We've had many conversations about what to call it, about what to call our skincare line. And the reason why we always got back to honor is because if you think of that word, it's such a powerful word about having integrity and respect, right? So I think we strive always to treat everything we do with those principles. Yeah. And if you were to say, okay, what is this podcast about? It's about sharing this with our audience. Well, if we have integrity and respect for our audience, it means that we are going to be honest. And we're going to tell them the good with the bad, because you're right. Yeah. No one's perfect. Nobody is. And I feel bad when I look at social media because I'm like, how is it that this surgeon is able to do all these things? And then I realize, you know, something's got to give. Something's got to give. And you know, as we said, balance is such an important part. But that word honor is it's such an important word to us. It goes to our core of the integrity, the respect that we want to have, not only for each other, but for our friends, for our family, and for this audience, hopefully, who's listening.
Yeah, and our community. We want to build a community. And it's so great. Like, one of my favorite parts of what I do is when I connect with people. There are so many people I know around the US and the world, for that matter, that I feel like I know them. I've never met them, but they, you know, they use Genetically Blessed during all 3 of their pregnancies. It's the only thing they feel comfortable using. It's the only thing that helped them with their melasma or their acne or their wrinkles. It's the only thing that made them feel beautiful when they were pregnant. And I mean, and those things really, you know, they make me feel something and they resonate with me. Or, you know, talking about like a family thing or an event, like I just feel such a connection, and it's a small group, and I want that group to grow. And, you know, this whole idea of like, just, I mean, we all know people who we think like, wow, like how'd they do that? Or they have everything, or like, wow, I wish that were me. And then maybe you get to know them and you're like, oh my God, I had no idea you went through that. And it's not like that should make you feel better, because it doesn't, but it makes it real. And that like, it makes it more interesting. And it's not something that you're doing wrong, and that's why you're not making it, or you're not making it happen. It's just that it's the journey, right? And there's all these different obstacles that come in different forms. So anyways, I feel like I'm kind of getting off topic, but that this whole idea of creating a community, of being helpful, of having fun, I think more now than ever, I really want things to be fun. And if we're taking time away from our kids, like spending time with our children, I want it to be fun, and I want it to be meaningful, and I want it to honor our values and honor our community. Yeah.
Well, I couldn't have said it better. And I agree with everything that you just said. And I think, again, it's why we wanted to do this, why we feel so strongly about this. And ultimately, it's about what you said, sharing, and hopefully, you know, helping, because, you know, like you said, the best feeling is when you know that you've spoken to someone and that person is like, wow, like that really helped me. And we get help in that process as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It's just, it's such a fun industry, like wellness and health and beauty. And, you know, this journey, it's such a journey. And even the journey of building this business, and how many different times we've done this, and, you know, what it's like to run a practice. And we want to know what you guys want to hear about. Like, we love talking about marriage. We love talking about microneedling. So like, there's just so many things.
Sometimes in the same sentence.
I mean, and how to eat clean and how to lose the baby weight and how to get ready for your wedding, like all these things. And just like I said, joining the beauty conversation, but making people feel better and not worse.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what we're trying to do here.
Well, we're going to talk about this because we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I hope that everyone listening enjoys it as much as I know we do, right?
Exactly.
All right. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more and
Me too.
and speaking about this stuff with you even more, Ursula. Really looking forward to it. All right.